What's up, hipsters? This is Meg back with more Gen Z notes on the Country Hipster podcast. So today we have episode 34, Fugazi Repeater. In contrast with the Interpol album, where the songs were all really, really long, Fugazi has such a seamless transition between the first three songs that it sounds super long, but then it's actually not. Merchandise sounds very Beastie Boys. It's definitely something that my dad would have played on the ride home from dance class when he was DJing for me when I was a kid. Probably fits somewhere between the Beastie Boys, Nirvana, and Guns N' Roses, especially on his playlist. But really, they need better song titles. You're super creative. You're good at writing music. I think we can do better than song number 1 followed by Joe number 1. Overall, 6 out of 10, in my opinion. Episode 35 was the Christmas episode. I was given specific directions when I started taking my notes that said, hey, you could probably skip the Christmas episode, worry about everything else first. So by the time I got around to the Christmas episode, it was this current week, which is the week leading up to Christmas in July. Thank goodness I waited until now, so I sound a little less crazy listening to Christmas music in my car while I'm driving around this week. So our first album from that episode was Alvin and the Chipmunks, Christmas with the Chipmunks. Now, it was failed to specify whether we were talking about Volume 1, Volume 2, or the 2010 release. So I subjected myself to Volume 1 and 2, and I made a note that the 2010 release is really just a combination of those two, and I promptly skipped it. I'm really impressed with whatever technology they used in the 60s to make these singers sound like the Chipmunks, but also keep the harmonies intact. That was pretty cool. However, there's only so much chipmunk voice a person can take in one drive to and from North Wildwood. I was kind of over it by the 5th song on Volume 1. Really, I'm just here for the Chipmunk song where Alvin's talking about wanting a hula hoop for Christmas. Everything else I could really take or leave. 5 out of 10 for me. Album number 2 from the Christmas episode was Bad Religion, Christmas Songs. Much better in comparison to the Chipmunks. The first track sounds kind of like the Narrowbacks. They're an Irish band from up in New York, right around the Bronx. The lead singer has a very similar vocal style to Seamus Keane, who is a performer with the Narrowbacks. I always appreciate a good rock cover, but I especially liked it for O Come, O Come, Emmanuel. That was a really cool interpretation. I enjoyed that one a lot. And I also find it kind of funny that the group is called Bad Religion, but most of the Christmas songs they covered were specifically the religious ones and not so much the secular ones. Funny little note. 7 out of 10 in my opinion. Lastly, we had Neil Diamond, the Christmas album, Volume 2. I honestly really struggled listening to this man's voice sing anything that was not Sweet Caroline. It was really, really strange. Deck the Halls sounded like it should have been part of a Pitch Perfect Christmas album. It was a very, very cheesy rendition of a cappella and could definitely have been done a lot better, I think. The instrumentals of Winter Wonderland were really cool. It was a neat Chuck Berry kind of a rock vibe, but Neil Diamond's voice sounded very out of place with that sort of a sound. Overall, the album is it's very oldies and not very 1992 when it was released. But not in a stylish Michael Bublé kind of a way where oh, this is an old feel, but it's really cool and he's got an amazing voice. It's more this guy is stuck in several decades ago and has not moved on with the rest of the world. Not really impressed. I'm sorry, 4 out of 10 for that. Lastly, episode 36, The White Stripes, Deja Still, I think. Again, I suck at words. Are we sure this is the same band that plays Seven Nation Army? Because it doesn't sound like that. They're a lot more chill than the song that gets played at all of the Penn State football games. Definitely not a bad thing. It's a very good album. It's just not what I was expecting from the little that I know about the band. It's a little bit on the weird side, but it works. Almost like an Arctic Monkeys kind of a feel. They're definitely alternative, little on the more strange side, but still catchy, enjoyable music. 6 out of 10 overall. That's it for today. Stay tuned for more updates.